Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Amy. Today I'll be doing another ship with me video. I do these videos every week and I go day to day and I share the different items that I'm shipping out. So let's get started. Today is Monday, July 29th. I have August 29th written on my paper there. I don't want to rush through summer any quicker. I was gone to Hood River with my husband over the weekend for a celebration for our 20th wedding anniversary. We had a wonderful time. Hopefully we're going to be taking another bigger trip early next year as part of our celebration too. But I had some really great sales while I was gone and I really didn't do much work at all. So I am really happy. The first item that sold is this Tommy Bahama, I was going to say Tommy Hilfiger, but Tommy Bahama belt. And I picked it up just because I liked this kind of beachy look to it and because it was Tommy Bahama. And this brand can have a higher retail price. And some pieces I do pretty well with. This ended up selling for $31. I paid about $3 for it, so after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $21.80. It didn't take a super long time to sell, a few months maybe. And you guys know me, I absolutely love selling belts. Did already say it made my profit $21.80. Well, I turned the air conditioner off because I thought it would be too noisy, but I am already too hot, so I'm going to turn it back on. The next item that sold is another belt, and I have had this listed forever. I don't know exactly how long, but over 2 years. And it's this vintage belt with a Wells Fargo belt buckle. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know why it took so long to sell. But it ended up selling for $28. I am really happy to see it go. This sold for $1. It sold for $28. I paid $1 for it. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $21.40. I am thrilled to get rid of that because I have had it for so long. The next sale was a bundle and it sold to one of you guys. So I realized I forgot to ask you your name, but your username, you said you're Taylor's mom. So thank you so much, Taylor's mom, for purchasing this bundle from me and for the other purchases that you've made. And I didn't realize that you were a subscriber. Also, happy belated birthday. She bought these two pieces of blue topaz. One is this blue topaz ring, just a really, really pretty piece. And she also bought a pair of blue topaz earrings, and the bundle sold for $80. These are the earrings that she bought. Another really gorgeous pair set in sterling silver. I got both of these items from that $890 estate sale. So I paid $3 a piece. So after posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $58. I think that is great. And as always, I so greatly appreciate when you guys, support me through purchasing items from my Poshmark shop or for leaving kind comments, always watching my videos. All of that means so very much to me, and I'm so grateful for the support that you guys give in return for these videos. Okay, the next item I was pretty excited to have sell. It is a vintage St. John dress. And I don't know exactly what era this is from, but I would guess possibly the 70s or 80s. There is the vintage label. I just thought this piece was so sweet. It's all knit. It has really pretty details on it, as you can see. Just a really cute piece. I picked this up at a really high-end estate sale, and the first day they had all of the clothing priced at $15 because there was a lot of name brand clothing in there. And I didn't pick up much because a lot of it was St. John and other brands that don't really typically resell well for me. Like I think there was some Doncaster, if that's the right one. So I went back on, I did buy a lot of other home decor and things and jewelry. I got a lot of really good jewelry from that sale. But I went back on the last day, and for this particular estate sale company, on the last day, anything that was originally priced $25 and under goes down to $1 per item. And then maybe it's $50 and under. No. And then anything $25 and over goes to half price. So I got this on the dollar day. It did take a little while to sell. I can't remember, was that the beginning of this year? I think this was actually the end of last year. So maybe close to a year it took to sell, but it sold for $80. I'm thrilled with that. I think I had it priced at $129 and the buyer offered me $80. But St. John, I've mentioned this before, it is not a quick seller for me, but usually it sells for a decent price once it sells. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $63. I think that is great. Let's see. I want to gently put this in there. As you can see, I used 2 layers of paper on this just because it's a knit. I just wanted to give it a little bit extra protection. So I think that should be good with that. Okay, and the next item I was also happy to see sell. If you guys watched my videos, you would have seen that I sold this a few weeks ago, but when I was going to package it up, I noticed that one of the snaps here had come apart. Now, I'm sure that it would be pretty easy to fix this, but knowing myself, it won't get fixed. So I just relisted it for a lower price. Well, I asked the buyer first if they still wanted it, and they said no. So I relisted it for a lower price of $39, and it already sold. So I am really happy about that it's still sold. And I've said this over and over again that I always will list flawed items within reason. If I find flaws and it's something that I would still use or wear with that flaw, I will still list it just at a discounted price, and inevitably they sell. I paid about $2 for this, so after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $29.20. I think that's great, and I'm glad that it will still go to a new home. Oh, I forgot to mention that I did also have 4 sales on Chairish, which I will share after this. But as you guys have heard, my Chairish shop has been really slow, but I went through and I reduced prices on, I think like 10 or 15 items in my Chairish shop. And I've really noticed that that will kind of spark up activity. And none of the items that sold were items that I reduced prices on. It was other items. So if you do sell on Chairish and your sales are slow, you may try reducing prices. And I only reduced them the required amount of 10%. So it's not like I marked them way, way down. The next item is another item that I have had forever. It is this pair of vintage Guess jeans. I had these jeans in junior high with the little zipper on the bottom. So when I saw these, that's why I picked them up, because they just brought back so many memories. But the problem with these is they were marked size 26, but they are tiny, like more like an extra small or a 22 or 24 or something like that. So I used to, if I had an item that was marked a certain size, but it didn't measure at that size, I used to list the item under multiple sizes. And of course, always include in my listing the measurements. But like initially I had these listed under extra small and like 0 and 2 and 23. And I think that messes with the search function. I don't know if it used to. I think that maybe since they changed it, it does now. Anyways, so I've gone through and changed all of my listings to just one size that I think most accurately depicts what actual size they measure at. And then I put that in my description. These are mark size 26, but they measure more like an extra small. In my opinion, please check measurements to make sure that they will fit you. So I think that's one of the reasons that these took such a long time to sell, because I had them listed under multiple sizes, and it's either confusing for people or they don't come up in their search results. If you have any, I think we've talked about this before, but if you have any feedback about that or knowledge, feel free to comment in the comments below, because a lot of people read those and we can all learn from each other. Okay, so these sold for $49. I paid $3 for them. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $34.18. I think that is great. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy to get these sold. Let's see. I don't think these are going to fit in that like I thought they were, so I will get a different box for them. Okay, and this item actually sold quite quickly. It is a Patagonia t-shirt. I actually originally bought this used off of Poshmark for myself, but it was a little snug on me and I just wasn't reaching for it. So when I was cleaning out my drawers recently, I just went ahead and took this out and listed it. Let's see, I can't remember. I think I listed this for $22 and the buyer got 10% off with discounted shipping, and so it sold for $19 with discounted shipping. I looked at comps on pre-owned Patagonia t-shirts, and that's kind of what the range was that I saw for solds, from $12 to $25. And I wasn't interested in, having this hang around for a while, so I priced it, at a reasonable price. I don't remember what I paid for this because I bought it for myself. So I put my cost of goods as 0, so that made my earnings $13.18. That's just fine, much better than trying to sell it at a yard sale and only getting, $3 for it or something. Oh, and there still have been quite a bit of comments. A few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I asked you if you guys would be interested in a yard sale video. And I do still hope to do that, but we do not have time to actually have a yard sale until, I don't know, the end of August or possibly in September. So when we do have time to actually have the yard sale, I will do my best to have some sort of video. I think it would be really interesting to see a video from the opposite side, because as resellers, we're always watching videos of people buying stuff at yard sales instead of selling stuff. So I thought that might be kind of fun, and I do still hope to do that. It's just going to be a little while before I can. Okay, this item also took a long time to sell. It is a vintage Vanity Fair velour house coat nightgown. It's not really a nightgown. And I'm going to finish packaging this up off camera because I did lint roll it a little bit, but it needed more. I've mentioned it before when I've sold these that I'm not picking them up anymore unless they are dirt cheap, like under $1, because they take a really long time to sell. And in fact, I don't know, I might not be picking them up at all, just because like this one, I think this took 3 or more years to sell, and it sold for $35, and I don't think I really want to wait that long for a $35 sale. I bought this before I knew how long it would take to sell, and I paid $5 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $20.98. I'm really excited about my sales on Poshmark from over the weekend because, well, last week was really good, but in general, as I've said over and over again, July is pretty slow for me, but it's really been a wonderful July, surprisingly. One thing I did want to talk about is that I've talked a lot about accepting offers and it being the summer of sales. I do want you guys to know that I am not immune from lowball offers, and I don't always mention it when I get them. And I get them a lot, multiple a week, where people will offer me less than 40% or less than 50% of what I have an item listed at. Some items I am willing to sell for 50% off, but most items I am not willing to sell for 50% off. And so I just want you guys to not think that I'm just getting only these great offers that I'm accepting. One thing, when I do get offers that I am not interested in taking, I almost always, 90% of the time, make a counter offer. And I make a real counter offer at where I would want to sell it at. I try not to get offended by lowball offers, because some people, that's just like how they have learned, or it could be a cultural thing, or they just want to get a really good deal. You know, of course, sometimes I do get annoyed or offended by offers, and on occasion I will just flat out decline an offer if I'm just not in the mood to negotiate. Another thing, if someone, you know, starts off super low and then I make a counter offer and they counter offer and come up like $1, I give them 3 strikes. So if they do that 3 times, then after that, I either just ignore them or I decline the offer at that point, because frankly, I just don't want to waste my time with someone who is going to come up $1 or $2 per offer, because at that point, it's just, I just don't really think that we're going to come to an agreement on a price. So it's not, you know, a good use of my time or energy to do that. If you enjoy this type of video, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. If you ring the bell, you'll get notified when I upload new videos. And as I said, I do these videos every week. It really helps creators out when you hit that subscribe button, give the videos a thumbs up, and make comments. Don't go anywhere. This video will continue. I'm going to get this stuff shipped out, and then I will come back and share what I sold on Chairish. Okay, so here's what sold on Chairish. The first thing was this pair of brass candlesticks that are shaped like roses. I just thought these were really unique, unusual, so that's why I picked them up. They did take a long time to sell, over a year, but they ended up selling for $69 plus a $4 packaging fee, which is in addition to the shipping fee, and the buyer pays both. So the total sale price was $73. I paid $6 for these. So after Chairish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $51.82. All of these I'm going to package up off camera, just because it takes a little bit of time to package them safely. The next thing that sold is this pair of vintage salt and pepper shakers. Aren't these really spectacular? These are not quite sterling silver, but they are silver. They're 800 silver, which just means that they have slightly less silver content and slightly more other metals. So they are, what is it? So 80% silver. Trying to get that out, instead of 92.5% silver. So that's where the 800 and the 925 come in. Okay, these sold for $139 plus a $5 packaging fee, so a total of $146. Now, I was able to find a designer name for these through Google Lens, but I'm really sorry, I forgot to write down what that was. I just picked these up at an estate sale because they looked really unique and special, and turns out they were. I did have them priced a little bit higher, and this buyer offered me the $139, and I just decided to go ahead and accept that. I paid $6 for these at an estate sale, so after Chairish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $108.10. Now, those did sell not quick, but reasonably quickly. They've only been listed maybe 2 or 3 months, so I was pleased with that. Okay, the next item that sold is this vintage mid-century era gold tone firewood holder. I picked this up just because of, it has that iconic mid-century look. I was on the fence because, as you can see here, it does have some dents. It had some other, patina and scratches, but the Goodwill only had it priced at $2.99. So I was like, I just got to get this. There's no way that I can't, make money on this. It sold for $100 plus a $15 packaging fee, and the buyer offered me $100. I had it listed, I think, for $129, and that, I'm not exactly sure how long that took, about 4 to 6 months to sell. So the total sale price was $115. Like I said, I only paid $3, so that made my profit $90. I'm thrilled with that. Okay, another vintage pillow. You guys who've been watching know that I have been doing really well with vintage pillows. If you guys watch the Homeschooling Picker and what's Matt's handle, Part-Time Pickers, they've started picking up pillows too. They have been for a while, I'm sure, and they don't necessarily focus on vintage, but they just pick up unique or interesting pillows, and they've been doing well with them. This one sold for $101. So I think I had like a $5 packaging fee or a $6 packaging fee. I'm not sure what the ratio was, but the total was $101. I paid $3 for this at an estate sale, so that made a profit $76.88. I really loved this one because, as you can see, it kind of has an iridescent sheen to it. It is silk, and I do believe it's from the 1950s or 1960s. I have done really well. Let's see, can you see oh, there we go. You can see the texture on the silk there. And this is called Silk du Peony, I think is how you say it. I'm not certain, but I've had really good luck with these. Hey again, it's Tuesday. I just have 2 things to ship out, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to ship tomorrow, so I just decided to get these out quickly. Let's see. The first item that sold is this Kurt Geiger little handbag. It's in gray leather with silver hardware. I bought this off of Poshmark, and it was kind of an impulse buy. I liked it, but I kind of figured it wasn't going to work out size-wise for me, but it was a really good price, and she had another bag for sale at a good price, so I bought both of them together. I've already sold the other, it was a Coach bag. I paid $110, let's see, it was $110, about $110 total for both of them. This ended up selling for $157. It's in excellent condition, really a beautiful bag, and this color is unusual. You don't see the gray very often. Let's see, I'm gonna try and maybe I'm gonna do a little bit of bubble wrap so that this, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So this chain doesn't leave indents. So they ended up costing me about $65 each. So let's see, do I have that over? Pardon me while I overthink packaging this. Just want to make sure that the little gemstones on that eagle head are covered. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $52.58. Now I didn't double my money on this, but $50 is still a really great profit. And I got to get a handbag in the mail. You guys know how I am. Sometimes I impulse buy bags just for fun. And I love this Kurt Geiger brand. Let's see, it looks like I forgot to get boxes ready. A little scatterbrained this morning, apparently. Okay, so the next item that sold is this really pretty pair of vintage crystal Aurora Borealis crystal earrings. These are clip-on earrings. I just really loved the color of these. I picked them up at an estate sale. They were with a necklace or a brooch, and I listed them separately. These sold for $30. Did I say I paid about $3 for them? So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $21. These took a fair amount to sell, maybe 6 to 8 months. And I kind of count on clip-on earrings typically not selling very fast. And I try and be particular with the clip-on earrings that I purchased, but I really liked the necklace that was with these. I can't remember if it was the necklace or a brooch, but anyways, I really liked them, so I decided to pick them up. Hey again, it's Thursday and I've got some more great sales to ship out. I've been really happy with this week so far. So the first item that sold is this vintage little Afghan hound figurine. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And this is by K. Finch. Let me double check that. Yes, K. Finch. So I waited in line for like 45 minutes at an estate sale, and then I got in and it was much smaller than I thought it was. And there really wasn't very much there, but I saw this and I looked it up and saw that it was this artist or name brand had some really good comps. So I picked this up for $5 and a couple other things. And everything that I got at that sale was broken or damaged, and I didn't notice it until I got out to my car. This was one of those things. The tail had been broken and re-glued. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And then also one of the eyebrows here is chipped off and it's broken. And so I was so frustrated because I waited 45 minutes. Didn't really find anything that I wanted that bad, but then I was trying to find something to make money on. This sold for $70, even broken, chipped, repaired, all the things. So, you guys know I say this over and over again, but still list your flawed items. A lot of times they will still sell. Now the comps for this, I don't remember what they were in excellent condition, but they were really good. And that's why I picked it up and why I decided to list it anyways. This sold on Chairish for $70. Like I said, it was $69 plus a $1 packaging fee. I paid $5, so after their fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $49.82. Also, this really didn't take a super long time to sell, maybe a month or two, maybe more like 2 or 3 months. But for a flawed item, I am just thrilled. Let's see, I'll set that out of the way here. The other item was a Italian brass bottle opener, and when I got it out to list it, a whole part of it was missing, so it wasn't like you couldn't function it at all. So I just redonated that, and I think I paid $5 for that. I did get a cool old Bosca, I think it is, wallet that I did list, and I haven't sold that yet, but the other 2 items were flawed, which was just really frustrating. But I still made, what, $50? And that's what I was trying to do. You know, when I wait a long time, like I don't want it to be a complete loss, so I try and find something to make money on. Okay, the next item that sold is this pretty pair of sterling silver leaf drop earrings. I picked these up at a yard sale. I just thought they were really pretty. There was also another pair of sterling silver earrings there that have already sold. These sold for $25. I paid about $2 for them. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $18. Let's see, I hope these will fit in one of these boxes. Yeah. So I am happy with that. These didn't take a super long time to sell either. Let's see, I think I'll put a little bit of ribbon on here. I do get a lot of positive feedback about the way that I package items, jewelry, shoes, bags, all of it. And just that simple extra step of wrapping it in some way in paper or you know, plastic if you prefer, with a little thank you sticker. People really appreciate that extra little layer of protection. And you know, when it's wrapped up and folded up nice, it makes the experience better, and it makes the item, you know, the initial impression of the item better, in my opinion. So I always think that is worth it. I have ordered things many times off Poshmark and other sites, and it's just thrown in a box with no protection at all. And I see both sides of that. You don't want to waste, you know, create waste if it's unnecessary. But I do think it's necessary to have some sort of layer of protection between the box and the item. That is just my personal opinion. And I always reuse the packaging that I get. Okay, the next item is a pretty exciting sale. I'm pretty sure I shared this in one of my recent videos, that I just picked this up at an estate sale. It's a vintage Carhartt hat, and the way that I could tell it was vintage is just look at those tags, made in the USA. Otherwise, I don't know that I would have been able to tell for sure that it was vintage. But when I saw this, I knew that it would potentially be good. And I was right. It was only $1, and it sold for full price for $89. I looked up comps on eBay. As I've mentioned, I haven't been having quite as good of luck with my Carhartt items. And one of you said that you think that Carhartt is oversaturated now. And that is probably true. So you're going to want to make sure that if you are buying it, that you are, you know, looking for the more uncommon vintage items, or you have to manage your expectations on what the, you know, the prices and the amount of time that it'll take to sell something will be. Okay, so it sold for $89. I paid $1. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $70.20. I'm so excited about that. And it sold in less than 2 weeks, which is really great. The next item is this cute little Western style belt. It's kind of a creamy color. It is not genuine leather. I picked this up because I liked the buckle, I liked the Western style and the color, and it was in really great condition. This sold somewhat quickly too, a few months. It sold for $28. I don't know if there was discounted shipping on this. I paid about $3 for it. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $19.40. I am happy to see that I'm seeming like I'm having more belt sales again, because it kind of seemed like I had a little bit of a dry spell there with my belt sales. And I have a lot to sell, so I'm glad to move them out. And I have been accepting most offers on belts if they are within reason. Did I say my profit was $19.40? Another belt sale here. And this sold for a little bit less than I had hoped because I thought it was a pretty cool piece. It's a vintage belt. I liked this buckle and the really soft leather. It had been listed a little while though, and it was just relisted, and someone offered me $15. I kind of thought about it for a little while, and then I just decided to accept it because it is the summer of sales. It's just a belt. It didn't have a name brand or anything else really spectacular going for it. So I said, yes, take it off my hands, especially because I have so many brown belts. I paid about $3 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $9. That is just fine. A sale is a sale, and it keeps the momentum going in my closet. Oh, I just, so it is August 1st today, and I finished off July. I more than doubled my sales from last year. I sold over $4,000 on Poshmark in July, which is outstanding for me. July, I am usually in the $2,000, $2,500 range for the month. And then I sold about $1,300 on Chairish, and I didn't total up my exact sales, my local sales, but I think $600 or $800 in local sales, so almost $6,000 for the month. I'm really proud of myself. I do this all by myself. I don't have any employees. My husband rarely helps me. Sometimes he'll help me move furniture, or, you know, of course, if I ask him to, he will. But it's just me, and that is really, you know, I'm doing a really great job. And I'm telling myself this, you know, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I need to remind myself that my hard work has paid off, and I need to be happy about the success. If I have people ask for suggestions on things to do to improve sales, and I have said these things many, many times, but I'll say them again if you haven't seen them in other videos. The number one thing I think you can do to improve sales is to list new items or relist existing items. Number two, send out offers to likers or watchers. So if someone hearts your item on Poshmark, send them an offer. If someone watches your item on eBay, send them an offer. Be proactive with the people who are interested in your items. If you are on Poshmark, share your listings. I share my entire closet at least 6 times a day, 6 to 7 times a day. What sharing does is that it brings your listing to the top of the search results if people are searching by just shared. Now, if people are promoting listings, they may show up above yours, but I do still think it is very important to share your own listings on Poshmark. Another thing is accept offers. I really feel like the more sales you make, the more sales you make. So the algorithm likes it when you are selling things. And so if you are selling things and accepting offers, it can boost your placement in the search results, or it may push out your listings in the news feed. I don't know exactly how it works, but when you're selling, you're gonna sell more. Let's see. Positively interact with the app. So instead of declining offers, make counter offers. Respond to comments quickly, ship quickly, hopefully get good ratings. So all of those things are what I recommend that you do to have good sales or improve sales on any platform. Now, someone in the comments of one of my recent videos, and I'm sorry I forgot to look at who it was or what the name was, but she said she was really enjoying my summer of sales mentality and that she had been doing the same thing, and she is focusing on her overall monthly sales totals rather than each item's sales amount. And I thought that was a really interesting way to look at things, because we all have a certain amount that we need to sell per month or that we want to sell per month, or most of us do. Some people just do it for fun or for extra money, but if you're full-time, you do kind of have a threshold that you're looking to get to. And so keeping track of where you are with your sales for the month, and then basing whether you're going to accept an offer or not on those numbers is really a different perspective and a good way to look at things. I'm not sure if that's how I will do it or not, but I think it's good if you're setting goals for an amount you want to sell per month, then you can keep track to get to that. I always like to share things that people share in the comments to see if it might help one of you guys out. Okay, it is only Thursday, so don't go anywhere. This video will continue with what else I sell this week. I'll either be back Friday or Saturday or both. Thank you so much, you guys. Hey, again, it's Saturday and I have a few more things to ship out. The first item that sold is this really cute little vintage fish brooch. Almost forgot what I was talking about there. It does have a little stone in there. I looked it up and put it in the title, but I can't remember what it was now. This was also marked 12 karat gold fill. And it ended up selling for $44. I had it listed for a little while. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure, but at least 3 or 4 months, maybe a little bit longer. And my Poshmark VA, I've been having that relist things for me, and I really have been noticing some older items sell that have been listed a long time once they get relisted. And this was one of those items. It had just been relisted, and either the buyer bought it, boy, I'm tongue-tied today. Either the buyer bought it for full price or they liked it and got a 10% off offer. I am not sure which, but I only paid about $2 for this. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that made my profit $33.20. I am totally happy with that. I thought that was a really cute little brooch, and I am happy to sell it. Let's see, I forgot to, oh no, I did make a box for that, but I forgot to make a box for the other item that I sold. So the next item is another Kurt Geiger bag, and for those of you that have been watching, you will have seen that I've sold quite a few of these this year. I ordered 1 or 2 for myself when I saw them on Nordstrom Rack discounted, and I thought I'll keep one and then I'll sell the other couple to try and pay for the one that I kept. And I've sold all the other ones. This is the one I was considering keeping, but I have not reached for it. I have another higher end designer black leather bag with gold hardware, and so I just decided that I kind of doubt that I would ever reach for this when I needed a bag like that I would probably reach for the other higher end designer bag. So I just decided to list this again. It sold pretty quick. I just listed it a week or 2 ago. I mean, I have had it for a while, I just haven't had it listed. And I listed it for $295, which I believe was the original retail price. And there was quite a few likes on it, and I had sent out a 10% off offer with discounted shipping, and this buyer counter offered me with $235. I was interested and ready to recoup my money from this, So I went ahead and accepted that. Also, that I believe is the highest amount that I sold any of these Kurt Geiger bags for. So I thought that was a reasonable price. Now this style with the big eagle head on it, most of his bags have a little eagle head that's about this big, and the big eagle head in this size of bag is hard to find right now. But it does seem like he repeats these styles every so often. But right now there aren't any others, or there weren't any others for sale on Poshmark. That was the other thing. I was kind of waiting for the others that were available to sell out so that so I could get a little bit higher price for mine. Okay, so it sold for $235. I paid about $150 total with tax. They were $129 or $139 plus tax on Nordstrom Rack. So after Posh fees and my cost of goods, that just made my profit $38. But, you know, as I've been saying, I was kind of dabbling in retail arbitrage, and one of those I considered keeping. So I'm happy to recoup my money and make about $40. Okay, so the next item sold on Chairish, and they're these cute little owl figurines, and these are by Freeman McFarland. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. There's another maker here too, but I can't remember what it was. A lot of times the Freeman McFarland pieces are in a gold metallic, but these were this kind of white bone china look. I just picked them up because I thought they were cute. And let's see, I didn't get a shipping label for those yet, but they sold for $50 plus a $5 packaging fee. So a total of $55. I paid about $6 for them. So after Chairish's fee and my cost of goods, that made my profit $38. These took a little while to sell. I think I bought them at the end of last summer, so almost a year. But I am okay with that. So I have had, in one of my recent videos, I sold a higher dollar piece of jewelry, and I do periodically. I've had quite a few questions about where I get my knowledge about jewelry, and I'll talk a little bit more about that after I share my sales and stats for the week. Okay, so my total sales for the week were $1,544. I'm thrilled with that. My total cost of goods was $279, and my total profit was $937.74, almost to my $1,000 profit goal. I sold a total of 23 items this week, so that made my average sale price $67.13. I'm thrilled with that. That made my average cost of goods $12.13. And my average profit per item, $40.77. I think all of those stats are outstanding. I'm very, very happy with them. How I learned about jewelry, I learned a lot from my mom. She was in the antique business. She also worked at a jewelry store for quite a few years. I use Google Lens a lot. When I get an item that I am not familiar with, I will Google Lens it and see if I can find out more information about it. I do use a gold and silver testing kit. I don't have a gemstone tester, but I'm pretty good just from experience at identifying a genuine or a man-made stone. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert or anything, but you can buy different gem testers on Amazon. Some of them are expensive, some of them aren't. What I would recommend for you, if you want to learn more about jewelry, is that each time that you buy a new jewelry piece, you just research it as much as you can, and you look at different similar items. So if I find a Carolyn Pollock piece, for example. So I got all of those at that estate sale. I was not familiar with her pieces at all. I'd maybe heard the name before, but I didn't know anything about it. So after I get done looking up the particular piece that I have, then I will just do a generic search for her items. So instead of Carolyn Pollock turquoise earrings, I'll just type in Carolyn Pollock. I'll look at the items that are listed for sale, kind of see how many are listed for sale. I'll sort it highest to lowest to see what her most desirable items are. And I'll also do that under solds. So I'll look at sold comps. I do this typically mostly on eBay. I'll look at sold comps and sort them high to low to see which ones of her pieces have sold for the most, so that in the future I can keep my eyes out for that type of thing from that designer. And each time that I pick up something that I'm not familiar with, I do research on the item, and then I do additional research to try and learn more about other things. Because a lot of times when you are, let's say you're researching a blue topaz ring, and turns out yours is sterling silver and it's worth $40. But then after you find out the information about your particular item, you just search blue topaz ring and you sort highest to lowest on the solds in eBay, and then you can see which ones are more valuable and maybe some of the details and characteristics about that type of item. I also really love watching Rusty the Reseller and Jason Adams on YouTube. They both have a ton of knowledge and information that they share. They are polar opposite ends of the spectrums for personality and kind of for where their experience comes from. So Rusty's kind of a country guy, and I think he has learned pretty much all of his knowledge kind of like I have from researching things and maybe from other people that he knew. And Jason Adams is, it sounds like at one point, and he still is a reseller, but now he had an estate sale company, and now he is an auction curator and historian is what he titles himself as, and he just does a lot of research too, and he has this huge collection of really interesting jewelry pieces, and from week to week he will share the different parts of his collection, and he will share information, and I have learned a ton from both of those people. So I hope that was helpful. I really appreciate your guys' questions and feedback, and thank you so very, very much for watching, supporting my channel, supporting my Poshmark closet. You guys are just the best. As always, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys all next week. Thanks again for watching.